Derry. I'm not from Fermanagh, Belfast. I'm from Newry. And I suppose just like most towns or cities in Northern Ireland, we've got two names. Derry would be the most famous. It's Derry, or depending where you come from, it's also Londonderry. Newry's no different. It's Newry to most of us, but depending where you come from, it's also known as Sainsbury's. I'm here to talk about, I'd like to thank Petra and the actors and actresses, just about behaviour management, or how to, or conflict resolution, using the restorative approach. And just a show of hands, who knows anything about restorative approaches in conflict management? Just a show of hands. Yeah? There's some people here? Yeah, that's great. Okay, well, I just want to check with this group how restorative you are. Now, it's a bit bad. Well, actually, I'm going to take my jumper off if that's okay.
This early?
No, this early, yeah.
We all have to take our jumpers off.
That comes later.
It's very restorative.
Oh yeah, I'm all done up with these. Right, no, the reason why I've got this on, I'm right in the middle of a move, and whenever I was leaving the house, I just grabbed the first shirt that I could find. It's not ironed, so you'll have to forgive me for that. So is that okay? I don't care whether it is or not. There you go. Right, sorry about that. Okay, this is a bit embarrassing, but I use it as an example of wrongdoing. And I just want to check to see how restorative you are. I was driving a couple of months ago at 56 miles an hour through a 30-mile zone, right, past a primary school, right. Police stopped me at the top of the road to stop me. I got a fine of £60 and 4 points off my licence, right. So I've got 4 points off my licence, £60 fine. I just want to check with you whether you think that's right or wrong. And up here, I'm just going to, this is a continuum, right? So up here is number one, and this is, right, you deserved everything you got. Up here is, God love you, that was terrible, they should have let you off, right? So, right, so up there, you know, they should have let you off. Down here, yeah, you deserved everything you got. In fact, you're worse than Brian Cowan in it all too. So, okay. So, what I want you to do, I'm going to take a step up this continuum, and there's everything else in between, of course. So, up in the middle here, it would be, well, yeah, I could see where you should have been let off, but no, on reflection, right? So, up here, shook it off. Here, no. You're only allowed to clap once, okay? So, whenever you think I've got to that point in the continuum, I want you to clap, okay? But you're only allowed to clap once, right? So, I'm about to start, okay? Very long, Larry. Right? It's just the effects of the recession. You aren't as kind as you used to be. So, right? I deserved everything I got.
Yeah.
That be right?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, there's a bit more to it. To this, my incident. I was in a hurry, of course. I was travelling 56 miles an hour, but it was a bit of an emergency. And it was 2 o'clock in the morning, there was nobody around, right? So it was a very straight road, I could see straight ahead. As I said, a bit of an emergency, and you know, nobody around. 2 o'clock in the morning, even though it was past primary school. Okay, so again, you deserved everything you got. Up there, no, they should have let you off, and anywhere in between. So, right? I thought you were going to slap me. Just as I got up there. Okay, so down here was, yeah, not too sure. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah.
Still should have,
Pardon?
still should have gone what you got, like. because like eventually like you'll think, oh yeah, grand, sure that way, well sure I'll cancel again. And you'll do it until eventually you'll keep doing it.
So you think I should have got, I still deserved everything I got
Yeah.
down
Maybe
here,
not so
yeah?
many points.
Pardon?
Maybe not so many points.
Not so many points, right? It's automatic 4 up north, you know. It's like you're shopping, you know, 4 for 1. Okay, so you still think I should have got everything. Anybody else think I deserved everything I got, even though it was 2 o'clock in the morning? Petra? I can tell in Dutch. Okay, so, right, and what about up here? Who clapped up here? Yeah, round the 5. Yeah, yeah. Why do you think?
Because there was other circumstances, like it was an emergency.
It was an
There
emergency.
there weren't any children around. It wasn't as dangerous from that point.
Okay, so there's an
There weren't
emergency.
much small children in it.
Right.
So there were circumstances like that.
So there were circumstances,
I'm
right?
very sympathetic to your cause.
And you're very sympathetic to my cause, right? I suppose I said we could take our jumpers off later. Okay, so there's circumstances, you know, it was a bit of an emergency, right? And it was 2 o'clock in the morning, so a bit of flexibility. And then it was up here around 8 and you clapped. So you're much more nicer than I have to say. So why did you wait until it was...
Well, I think you should tell us all the facts before you ask us whether to go there or there or there.
You think that you should get all the facts before
I think
the...
we should get the whole story.
Okay, right. Okay.
Emergency, well, we should
Well, okay, well, saying that you want the whole story, I'll give you the whole story, right? The emergency, my son, freak accident. He's never ever sleptwalked in his life. Sleptwalked that night. First thing we heard was a crash. He'd fallen down the stairs and there was a glass panel at the bottom of the stairs. Bang right into it. Blood all over the place. I got up, looked, rang the ambulance. The ambulance were out at the other side of town at a nightclub. There was a big fight outside the nightclub and all the ambulances were there. The ambulance, the operator said, you need to get your son to hospital as quick as you can because he could have cut an artery. Now I'm not a medical student or you know, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I didn't know what was cut, but I knew there was something cut because there was a lot of blood. Threw him into the back of the car. Wife was there behind with him in the back of the car, and I needed to get to that hospital as quick. And that was my thinking at the time. So,
Oh, can I ask
That's really happened.
you're gonna.
the girl stopped you, did he give you an escort?
Did he give me? We'll come to that after.
Tell me all the facts.
Right, he gave me 4 points of my licence and a £60 fine.
Yeah, but did he bring you to the hospital?
Did he bring me to the
Did
hospital?
he give you an escort to the hospital?
He did.
Alright, well then.
Yeah, at 30 mile an hour, but 40 through the 40 zone. Right.
Should have just rang the off.
Okay, so I deserved everything I got.
Yeah.
Right? Up there, God love you, they should let you off. You know what those guards are like. Right? Okay, so clap at any stage at all. So the majority up here, right? But we still got somebody at the back there who clapped. Is it yourself, Petra? Doesn't matter what the circumstances are, you still deserved it.
No, it's not about deserving. For me, it is if there's agreement about when you drive 30 or 50, you don't drive 50, and if you lose your points, you lose your points. But that's a different thing than how police should help you to get to the ambulance. So both are in play. But I still think you should get the punishment for driving too fast.
Okay, right. So the law's the law, that's it, right?
But it doesn't mean how you deal with that as a police person or get you to the ambulance.
Yeah.
So the one doesn't exclude the other.
Yeah, so he still got me to the hospital quickly, but
Hopefully in 700
made sure that he filled out his forms first of all and
No, not do that. No.
and get, yeah, pardon?
Not do the forms first, obviously.
Not do the forms first. Yeah, it was in the casualty he did that, so I have to say, full points to him. But yeah, I still deserved everything I got. Okay, fair enough. So the law's the law, and that's it. You broke the law, that's it. Okay, and I think then up here clapping started. Who clapped when it was up round the 6 mark, 6-8 mark? Yeah.
I think the police should take everything into account. I mean, it's like when we'll say somebody goes to court for robbing a bank or whatever, and they get a suspended sentence. They're actually out, and if they reoffend or do something again, well, then they go to jail.
Okay, right, so
I
all the
think it should be-
circumstances should be
Should be
taken
taken into account.
into consideration. Are you saying I should have got a suspended sentence?
No, no.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that they should have discussed the whole thing with you and taken everything into account and said as much as if you're caught the second time, you definitely get the 4 points on your
Yeah.
licence.
So they should let me off at that time, given the circumstances, but give me a warning.
That you
Right.
would be, you'd get the 4 points the
next
next time,
time.
if there was a next
Is there
time.
a police system or anything? Just, I mean, can they throw that at you because they have to do that on the spot? But then are you in a situation where you can appeal it?
Oh yeah, you could appeal it in
Can,
court and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's too soon yet, it still hurts. So I can go through that
That's what
trauma
your stories about, yeah.
But I think that's all okay until something happens.
until something happens,
Yeah,
yeah?
like if you're breaking a speed limit and okay, you're somebody in the car and it's an emergency, somebody walks out and you haven't time to brake and you injure somebody else, that's all okay until something happens. There's a reason why there's a speed limit there.
Yeah.
It's due, even if it's due at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's more people knocked over in the middle of the night
Yeah.
sometimes than there is during the day.
So there's a reason why that speed
Yeah.
limits are there. There's a reason why laws are there,
Mm.
and it's important to maintain those
Yeah.
laws because they're there to help us and to keep us safe.
Mm.
Okay. Any other comments?
Giving you the fine instead of the both, could have given you one or the other.
Yeah, they could have given me one or the other.
Zero fine and said, I won't give you the points this time because your son is in the back of the car or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it should have given you just one or the other.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
still don't think you should have been in the car driving.
You don't think I should have been in? Where you should let him bleed to death?
No,
You
but
know,
I
he's a teenager.
think when you're in the car and you're driving and you're upset or any, you're not concentrating on driving that car.
Uh-huh.
So you're saying you're getting from A to B and never mind what's in the middle.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. So the other side of that is the adrenaline increases your concentration, increases your senses, so you're more controlled, you're more in tune with what's going on. I can tell you every lamppost I went down, if one was lit, if one wasn't, because of that night, right? And that would be the counter argument. Actually, it couldn't because we made that up. That didn't actually happen. But it's an example of that restorative approach, right? And the example of conflict as well, because quite often, whether it be parents or anybody else coming across a conflict or being told about it, we often see just this bit, okay? This bit here where he was speeding 56 miles an hour, whatever it might be, or I saw him hitting her, right, or him hitting the other lad, right? That was it. So it's automatically assumed that that person's in the wrong and the other person is a victim, right? Right? Now, by the third time, right, we had the full story, right? So what often happens is we deal with conflict, right? And in this case, we were going by the letter of the law, right? And as Petra said, it doesn't matter whether your son was dying, I prefer to see a wreck and depressed, etc. You broke the law, right? And that's it. So that's the letter of the law as it stands. What we ask people to think about is the spirit of the law, right? So yeah, I still broke the law. However, there were circumstances, mitigating circumstances, which would allow for a different sense. So yeah, rather than the 4 points and £60 fine, just go for the £60 point fine. Or go for a caution and saying, right, that's all good and fine, we understand this time. However, your name's now on the record. If you break the speed limit again, then we're going to have to slap a £120 fine on instead of £60 fine. That's fair enough. So that's the spirit of the law. And that's what restorative approaches is about. It's about the spirit of the law rather than the letter of the law. And it's not to say that it shouldn't be followed through, but everything, we need to look at conflict in the bigger context. And just talking about conflict, I just want to, let's see, your first thought. I'm going to write up the word conflict. What's your first thought whenever you hear about the word conflict or hear the word conflict? Okay? So, Let's go.
Clash of personalities.
Trouble.
Anger, clash,
Disagreement.
disagreement,
Or
hurt, did somebody say? Yeah.
Aggressiveness.
Sorry?
Aggressive.
Aggressive.
Misunderstanding.
Doubting.
Regret.
Shouting, regret,
Emotion.
Confrontation.
victim,
Instigate.
confrontation. Something over here.
Instigate.
Instigator.
Discord.
Discord.
Injustice. Sense of injustice.
Injustice. One more.
Frustration.
Sorry.
Frustration.
Frustration. Right, what do you notice about that?
They're all negative.
They're all
They're all negative, yeah.
And all emotions.
Emotions, yeah. There's a lot of emotions in there. Yeah, frustration, anger. Well, aggressive, that'll be anger again. Yeah. Regret. Yeah.
Hurt.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Right. So they're negative. There's a lot of emotions in there, but they're again negative emotions. So what does that tell us about conflict, or your perception of conflict?
It's a negative thing. It's a negative thing.
Sorry.
It's a negative thing. It's a negative thing.
It's a negative thing. Yeah. And we tend to think of conflict as negative. We see it as a negative force. However, it's important that we start to look at conflict different, because conflict can be positive. There can be a lot of growth out of conflict. At times it needs to actually happen before then there's a